What's up, everyone? We are back. Fight news time, right? Not a podcast. We're just doing a good old special edition of news. Hooray! We got shit to talk about. Big, meaningful things. First order of business. How do you guys feel that Renato Moicano said that Raul Rosas Jr., the ugliest motherfucker he's ever seen?
Jesus
Everyone got opinions.
Christ.
You know?
I thought that was very rude.
It's rude.
It is rude.
It's still funny, though.
Not that ugly. Like, why are people so mean to Raul, you know?
God damn. That just...
People really hate standout features, you know?
Like, yeah, he out here looking like the Crimson Chin, but...
Disrespectful.
That ain't...
Hey, he literally called him a superhero, where Moicano said he's the ugliest motherfucker he's ever seen. I'm sure Moicano's seen a lot of motherfuckers.
That is
ugliest?
True. Ugliest.
Like, that's a statement to put on someone.
That is wild.
Bark this.
Like, I have never... My eyes have never gazed upon an uglier person on this planet. Like...
You are really wrapped up in this.
Which is...
Bro, that's so fucked up.
Which is
that's
weird, because
crazy.
Kevin Kroom exists.
Yeah, like, bro, that's a way more dusty-looking guy than fucking Raul. Come on, man.
Alright, we need to move on.
Alright, that's the fight news for today, everyone. I hope everyone enjoys this.
Insulting fighters.
Okay. Into the real shit, right? UFC.
June is
303.
cursed, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yes,
Okay.
That's
it
the
is.
first
It is
statement to be
100%
made.
cursed.
Let's just start it off the top of my head. Main events. Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. Boxing main event June 1st didn't happen. Main event of boxing, Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. Didn't happen. Main event, June 22nd, Saudi Arabia. Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Not happening. June 29th, main event, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Not happening. June 29th, co-main event. Not happening. Other fights throughout the month, not happening. Constantly getting canceled. We just did the review of last week's card, and Tagir Lumbekov and Joshua Van, that fight fell out. I know, obviously, Ikram, get into all that. Yeah. He got moved, but that fight, like, June, at the end of May, when we were looking at June.
Yo, we were so hyped for it. We're like, yo, it's almost here. It's almost June 1st. Starting it off with the pay-per-view is gonna be hyped.
And then it was a shit card, too. 302 was not fun overall.
That should have told us everything, man.
Yeah, obviously, Dustin losing, it was like, okay, like, it sucked to see, you know what I mean?
That was a great fight.
But that was a great fight, and it was an expected result, you know what I mean?
But the rest of the card?
Yeah, it just was very mid. And since then, it is all falling apart. So, let's start with the biggest of them all. Obviously, International Fight Week. What was it? It was June third or fourth. It was something like that.
They were supposed to have a press conference.
June 3rd, yes. Yeah, it was the first Monday of the month.
Yeah.
Yes.
So June 3rd, we were supposed to have a press conference between McGregor and Chandler in Ireland. Fucking sold out, free tickets, 10,000 people were gonna be there, and night before, just word starts coming up, oh, things aren't looking good, it gets canceled, who knows what's going on. We had Ariel being the only one to know anything throughout it all, obviously wasn't able to, like, say the real shit that was going on, but just like, oh, things are looking bad. Then a few days later, oh, things are looking better. Then a week or so later, then it's like, oh, things are looking bad.
They're looking
even worse than they were.
Even worse.
Like, there's feeler fights going out, they're trying to put together something, but nobody actually knows what's going on. And then, what was it, 2 days ago now, officially, that fight is off, Conor and Chandler no longer happening.
Yep. So, and obviously, the UFC was going to wait to announce it until they had full replacements for everything, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because, like, going into this, it's the return of Conor McGregor. Hasn't fought in 3 years, July of 2021. But it's so long, like, it's been anticipated for so many fans that they were awaiting his return. The very first ever $20 million gate didn't even get to the fucking I think it was before June, or was it the 302 press conference, or maybe when they said that they already sold 20 million. It was like, I think it was somewhere around there. It was like basically a month out and saying that they already got $20 million at the gate.
Yep.
Conor, I saw something recently. I think it was MMA Point that posted that I guess he pulled out due to an injury in Cage Warriors. I feel like that's just kind of like it doesn't really matter as much, you know what I mean? It's like regional shit. It's like you don't get nothing for those wins really, so who cares if you pull out.
UFC oh my god, he pulled out one time in his career before this, it's like
no, go.
Bro, there are so many people where it's like, nah, this is more of a habit than it is others. Like McGregor never pulled out in the UFC. Michael Chandler, I don't think has ever pulled out of a fight.
I don't think so.
So it's just like when this was going on, it's like, what's going on? It had to we're all like, this is severe if this is happening.
Yeah, it's just very weird going into it because it's like. I want to know, because obviously everyone wants to know what the injury is exactly. That's just a big, and I don't know, so fucking. It's one of those things where it's that's not necessarily something that we have to know. You know what I mean? If someone wants to keep an injury secret, it's that's more than that's on them to keep that. If they want to, that's perfectly fine. The weird thing is just apparently. What could it have been where they're things are looking bad, we gotta reach out to replacement opponents, and then oh no, things are looking better, the fight's probably gonna be on, and then it's just oh no, actually it's terrible, this isn't happening at all. What the fuck injury could it have been?
No, yeah, exactly. According to apparently someone that Michael Bisping talked to, it has to do with the knee on his leg that was broken in the Dustin Poirier fight.
What I was gonna say is maybe right before the press conference he ended up hurting it, but didn't get to a doctor yet, or maybe results weren't back, and it was okay, things are looking fine, I feel okay, but then the doctor got back in touch no bro, you're fucked. I have no idea.
No, yeah, well he's fought on a torn meniscus before, right? Or was it an MCL against Chad Mendez?
I mean, either way, when you're getting older and you have the money you have, and you've already taken injury in that leg before, there's no reason to risk it at this point. You know what I mean? It's not like he needs to make money or anything. He probably knows, especially at the age of, how old is he now? 35? He needs to take care of himself first. So while he's done it in the past, especially on the way up, it's at this point, take care of your body, bro. Why fuck it worse?
Yeah. But I do want to say that Michael Bisping has been a complete asshole during this whole thing to Ariel Helwani, and
really?
Yes, oh my god. But then he's the one dropping the news that he heard that it was a knee injury, when he's saying he's not the one doing. He doesn't like that people are doing investigative journalism to find out so they could be the first one. It's bro, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's called Ariel. He's one of those guys that he has all of the ties that he needs to everyone for information. So and that's when he gets information and they're just oh yeah, he's injured, but don't say anything.
He's not going to say anything.
Yeah, that's literally that's not how you do journalism. You know what I mean? That's not.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. People are fucking stupid, but yeah, it definitely, like you said, Kay, it especially where Conor's at in his career now, the much awaited return, it's way smarter to just postpone it, whatever, heal up whatever it is, and just go back to Michael Chandler, book it another day instead of fighting injured and possibly getting hurting it more, like you were saying, or just losing because you are injured and now everything's in.
Because it's even when it comes to your meniscus or something, that could be something as simple as you tore it a little bit, you need minor surgery, and you could be back on your bearing weight the same day and back to normal within fucking a month and a half, versus now you're doing things on it, it's a more invasive surgery, you need stitches, and it's going to take more months.
So yeah.
No, yeah.
We'll have to see when they decide to rebook it. It's just a hard one because I feel like it's going to be unlikely that we actually get it at the Sphere. We've kind of talked about it before, that they're looking to do it big and everything. maybe because of that, they will headline it with the return of Conor and then have all these other big title fights or big fights underneath it. Who knows? But that just seems very unlikely at this point for the UFC. Maybe a December return because they're going to get John Jones and Stipe and MSG, like, unless they decide to flip that around, you know, like it. So more than likely it'll probably be MSG if Jones isn't ready, or if he is, then December. We'll probably get that fight.
No, yeah.
But because that is no longer happening, also quick, I forgot to throw it in there too. With that same thing, we got told Jamal Hill also has a knee injury, and he is out of his fight against Carlos Oberg, who was filling in on short notice for Khalil Roundtree. But everything is all settled in all of it. I will have to say, on paper, to me, I look at this, better card overall. Yeah, it is amazing.
Infinitely more hyped, specifically for the co-main.
For the people that had any sort of real investment to, like, Conor's return, and, like, even if it was going to the fight or anything, this is absolutely terrible. It's like there was nothing the UFC could ever do to replace Conor McGregor fighting, but they gave us the best thing that they could. The replacement for Jones and Stipe and MSG of last year, we're getting it International Fight Week to replace Conor McGregor. Alex Poaton Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka 2. What a fucking main event. Of course, these are like the only two motherfuckers on a 2 weeks notice are gonna be like, yeah, I'll step into I mean, well, like Yuri for the title fight, it makes more sense, but for Poaton to be like, yeah, I'll defend my title on 2 weeks notice. Yeah. I know I was just kind of walking around Australia with 2 broken toes, but it's okay. Like, it's fine.
It's fine. No, yeah, 100%. These are the only two that would do it. And it's just like, jeez.
Poaton, man. The man to step in every single fucking time the UFC needs him. Said it with MSG and John Jones to get promoted to the main event, to be the main ones to headline that. Filling in short notice on 300 because the UFC was scrambling for a main event and didn't have anyone. Yep, I'll do that against Jamal Hill, no problem. And then, just doing it again 2 months later, 2.5 months later after 300.
Yep.
I did think that it was pretty amazing that he's like, after 303, I want a short break. I'll be back November, December. Oh, so like
a normal break, you're still fighting 3 times a year?
Yeah.
Like when you started that sentence, I'm thinking like early next year.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
He might get to early next year, though. It all depends. Because later this year is kind of getting just like really logjam with a lot of things that could be happening. So,
bro, him and Yuri was already going to be the co-main to Jones Stipe. Like, he could easily just be the
him and Magomed.
Yeah, like that dude could easily be like the 4 consecutive biggest cards on like for the UFC. Yeah. He could be attached to like the main or co-main for every single one of them. And so so far 100%. 3 for 3, he's going to be the main event. So like that's fucking incredible, man.
Also, it was confirmed by a couple people, but the original plan for this fight was at UFC 305 in Perth.
Yes.
For the main event. This man was about to take that from Izzy. And rightfully I just gotta say, that is hilarious. And he just continued, like, they just continue to be attached to each other no matter what happens for the rest of their careers.
Yeah, but either way, it also does make sense a little bit because it's like the Brazil card already happened. The next card open and making more sense to both of them would have been like MSG. So they both wanted to fight sooner. So if they had an open spot where it's like, fuck it, let's get a second title fight on it, even though it doesn't make sense for either of your areas, I'm glad that they were doing stuff like that, you know? Get things 100%. Moving.
And it's one of those things too where I feel like setting it up for there, they were probably trying to find a good timeline where it's like, okay, let's say Poaton or whoever wins or whatever, get them defending against Magomed, probably MSG December type thing. So that's like, you know, but just an amazing, like obviously Poaton's one of those people that is down to step up on short notice, but with him having like going into 300 with a broken toe, coming out of it with 2 broken toes, I know it's not the biggest thing, but I just kind of assumed that it wasn't going to get put together on short notice. I thought we were going to get like fucking like Oliveira fucking Chandler or something, or like Oliveira Max, like maybe a BMF title thing. You know what I mean? I didn't think we were gonna get a full weight class title on such short notice. Just props to both of them, man, for doing that.
Hell yeah.
And because we lost that, Connor and Chandler, as such a big main event, they were like, all right, the co-main event also fell out. We can, we'll have a replacement for that we'll talk about next. But we got to spice it up a little bit more as well.
And we got what I wanted.
Co-main event on short notice. I absolutely cannot believe that Brian Ortega is stepping up, the number 3 ranked featherweight contender, against number 14th ranked Diego Lopes.
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's so goddamn good.
Ortega
tell me all your feelings about this. I'll just let you
First of all, the second I saw this, Ortega got offered the world and a title shot if he wins. There is absolutely no doubt about that. He was offered everything under the sun, and I'm so happy he took this.
Yes.
Diego Lopes, man. This is just going to be real fun. He's been looking so good in his past couple fights. Obviously came in 3 days notice against Movsar Evloev.
Something like that, yeah.
Had a good fight with him, lost the decision, and has just been smashing people since. His last fight, Sadiq Youssef, which is solid ranked fighter.
Yeah.
So it's like we've actually seen him fight somebody in the top, and it's like we've seen what he can do on short notice. Ortega's the fight to make because he's scrambly. He's so good with his submission. So if it gets there, I don't know if Ortega's going to be able to be like, oh, this is my game, Like, he thinks it is. But first of all, Diego's just big in there. And it's like we've seen how physical and strong he actually is in the grappling. Like, I'm not sure Ortega's just going to be able to play with him. And it's like, Ortega's a bit chinny. He might just get knocked the fuck out. Like, I know it hasn't happened yet. And he tends to, corner stoppage or he just gets beat up over time.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be surprised.
Bro, it's like Sadiq Youssef was eating wheel kicks from Barboza and not getting done and put out of there. Like, he got hurt very bad, when Barboza was landing, but it's like he was in there and he made it 25 minutes, went with him.
Yeah.
Bro, a couple uppercuts and Diego was done with him. Just tore the fuck through him. You're getting sat down with the hands of Yair for Brian Ortega. Bro, if Diego grabs a hold of him and starts blasting him in the clinch or just out at range, there's no way he could take those shots. I just don't believe that. The grappling, I am so excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, if it gets there.
It's just Ortega, he's not the greatest fighter, but he is very good, and that jiu-jitsu game is definitely something that is to be respected, not taken lightly. It's
it's just that his wrestling isn't the greatest.
No, for sure.
That's,
But that's he is at least better at, finding ways to at least end up in those moments to, where the wrestling doesn't matter as much, he could get to the work, He could easily just jump guard in moments and get very effective work done from it, where we've seen so many other high level jiu-jitsu guys, they jump guard and they get fucking shut down, that is such a good co-main event. And like you said, Ortega had to have gone an extra 100,000-200,000 for that fight and definitely promised the title shot off of a win. You already had Ilya talking about him, you know what I mean? So it's ooh, so excited for that. Absolutely amazing. And then the new featured bout, Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barrio, that got bumped from the main card, rightfully so, making it much better with this. We now have Anthony Smith coming in on short notice, saying that he's the man to fraud check these guys against Carlos Oberg. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I do and I don't.
We're gonna see, because I don't believe we've actually really seen Oberg's ground game tested at all in any sort of way. I cannot remember him grappling in any one of his fights. Smith is gonna try and test that, but does he get knocked out real quick before it? Oberg's riding high off that win over Alonzo for sure. So he's gonna be confident. He's gonna be feeling himself.
That's definitely the big thing, because Smith is at least smarter than Alonzo, and he's not just going to run at him.
Yeah.
So I know Smith is a bit chinny. He can tough it out sometimes, but then there are other times where he just gets completely steamrolled.
Yeah.
So it just is all going to depend. Honestly, if Smith is able to get this to the ground, I would love to see what Oberg's defensive grappling is, what he actually looks like on the ground and all that.
Yes.
I just don't know if it even gets there.
Yeah, definitely interesting. We'll see how that plays out, but yeah, both of them or like in reality coming in on short notice to this date. So we will definitely see how that plays out. So good on UFC for turning around International Fight Week the best they can. But then that wasn't the only shit that was affected. Mentioned it earlier. A week before, Saudi Arabia, June 22nd. It fucking sucks, man. Khamzat Chimaev out sick again. I'm pretty sure it was Ikram Kudataladze who posted a picture in the hospital with him. He is looking not good at all.
No.
He came in just flying with a rocket ship strapped to him, and just since COVID, he got real sick, was contemplating retirement then, and then, you know, you got the Chechen fucking dictator just being like, no, you're gonna fight, so, you know, he's like, obviously, just gonna keep on fighting, and then, now just extremely sick again, pulling out of a big spotlight. It just sucks to see, man.
Yeah.
It does.
It just so much potential for him. So many good years of his career of just getting in experience, getting in good fights that he's just can't get into the octagon. And it's like, you made the perfect comparison yesterday when we were talking about it, that it's like he could very easily just end up becoming the next Zabit, where it's like just a very big what if in MMA.
Yeah.
Yep. Just what would happen if he fought? Yeah, if he actually just fought the fights that he could have fought.
Yeah.
Like, what would happen if he didn't get fucking sick, you know? Bro, if he could keep his immune system up, bro, it sucks.
If he didn't get sick with COVID, when exactly?
What, he would have been fighting,
He would have fought fucking Leon long ago.
Yeah, because it was December 19th of 2020 that he was originally supposed to fight him.
Okay.
Then January and then March.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I think it was the December date was something with Leon. And then I'm pretty sure January was when he got sick, and then they rebooked it for March, and he just still wasn't ready from being sick. But it's like
Edwards tested positive for COVID-19 on the December card. Then the next one was Chimaev was recovering from COVID, and then the one after that was Chimaev due to lingering effects of COVID.
So it's like, even if it was January of 2021. If he got that Leon Edwards fight and was able to beat Leon, everything is so different.
Yes.
So fucking different, man. Like, we would have gotten fucking Usman on his title reign fighting Khamzat Chimaev. You know what I mean? Like, it's just real crazy to think about how things just play out sometimes, and how close people are to certain scenarios, and it just all can fall apart so quick.
Yeah.
With him pulling out, they had to keep a main event going for that, scrambling to find anyone that they could take to fight fucking Robert Whittaker on such fucking short notice. They pull Ikram off the co-main event of last week's card, and we get motherfucking Robert Whittaker versus Ikram. 2-0 in the UFC, only lost to Khamzat Chimaev. Kind of poetic that he fills in on short notice for him. What are we gonna get with this main event?
I don't know.
That's who knows. That's just so different. It's just so different. Like
just such a big jump up. Like, bro has fought Phil Hawes and Warley Alves. I mean, granted, he was supposed to fight Paulo Costa, Nasruddin Imavov, Anthony Hernandez, Andre Muniz. All of them got canceled, and now he's finally settling on Robert Whittaker.
One of those things where, like, just trying to get him against a rightful top opponent, and they all get canceled, and so it's like, well, you want a top opponent, short notice, like the worst scenario possible for it, you get the highest ranked one out of them all, and it's like...
The only thing that is good about it is at least he was training for a fight. It's literally the week after, so it's not like it's this big extension on it. It's just who he was supposed to fight to Whittaker. They're very, very different people. And now it's a 5-round main event opposed to 3 rounds, so it's just...
As opposed to 3 rounds.
And it's also...
when this was actually canceled and everything, who knows if Ikram had already started his weight cut, had to then, you know what I mean? So that's going to play a huge factor in it, having to potentially cut weight twice in a week.
Yeah, because I was trying to see where he is. So it says that he's fighting out of Russia, but it's like that's also one of those things where it like I wasn't even thinking about like starting the weight cut, but like for sure that. But then it's like dude probably flew from Russia, just flew to Vegas, started all the process of fight week and everything, and now has to fly from Vegas to Saudi and then just restart that fight week. Like
damn, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
That is a very rough thing to do. Like. That and then I didn't even think about the weight cutting aspect. I was just thinking around the bouncing around and like.
Damn.
You got multiple things going on there, that are going to be working against him.
Yes.
Pretty good, but like stylistically, he's pretty good matchup for Whitaker. It's not the worst person he could have been matched up against in the top 5 to be coming in short notice against. But at the same time, it is going to be one of those things. What is his cardio going to look like? What is Whitaker's takedown defense going to look like? What is his actual striking defense going to look like against Ikram? Like, it's going to be very interesting because what's his cardio look like?
Oh yeah, and I mean, shit, it's one of those things where it's like we all know how good Ikram's grappling is, which is like defending all of Khamzat's takedowns, all that. Dude hasn't grappled in the UFC yet. He literally hasn't used it yet. He's just been striking with these motherfuckers. So it's like. That's where I feel like he's definitely going to have the grappling edge. Who knows if he uses it, though. And it's like, got that easy first-round finish over Phil Hawes, but it's like he was getting touched a little bit by Phil Hawes, so it's like the in-and-out fucking movement, the 1-2 head kick of Whitaker, like that could be a real tricky for him to deal with at just on such short notice, especially.
I was about to say. Especially with the way that
this goes past, like, I would be surprised if it goes past the second round. I feel like one of them are going to fuck each other up real quick.
I could understand that. I think, like, one of the other biggest issues with him getting Robert now is also just the leg stamps, the like, oblique kick to the legs that he likes to do. Like, that's going to be a real problem for Ikram to get past.
Yeah.
Especially because Ikram is a very heavy on the front foot, pressure forward type of fighter.
Yeah. It's good though, very fun. Like it's at least a fun main event that they could spin it around with, instead of getting Khamzat. So, good for UFC being able to pull that one out. And then also on that card, Melsik Bagdasaryan was supposed to be back against Muhammad Naimov. Very sad, Melsik is out on that one. Just another gem on that card that is no longer happening. So yeah, June is just falling apart left and right. This shit is crazy. Yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I hope everyone enjoyed this. That is all of the fight news to get into for this week, really today. I don't know, just all the shit kind of going on right now. As bigger things happen, we'll be dropping the fight news video. So let's go.
Let's go.
But we will catch you on the next one. Peace out, everyone.